Welcome to Tennessee's at-home learning series for literacy. Today's lesson is for all our third graders out there, though everyone is welcome to tune in. This lesson is the last in this week's series. My name is Miss Copeland, and I'm a third grade teacher at Venus Stewart Elementary in Gallatin, Tennessee. I'm so excited to be your teacher for this lesson. Welcome to my virtual classroom. Every day I am making a note for one of my students in my classroom who I am missing. Today's note is for Miss Sandra. Sandra, I am missing you. I miss seeing you every day in our class and listening to your thoughtful answers to questions. I also miss reading your great stories that you would write. I hope that you stay safe. From Miss Copeland. If you haven't seen our previous lessons, you can find them on www.tngov.com/education. You can still tune in to today's lesson if you haven't seen our others. Today, you will be learning more about Dr. Seddon and her memoir. Before we get started, to participate fully in our lesson today, you will need paper, pencil, a surface to write on, and the student packet for lesson 10 if possible. The student packet is found on the tn.gov website as well. Before we begin, let's go over a few vocabulary words that will be in our text to help you better understand the end of our story. The first word is retrieved. Retrieved means to go back and to got and brought back from somewhere else. It is a verb, which is an action word. The next word is obstacle. An obstacle is something that makes it difficult to perform an action. Obstacle is a noun. Our next word is atmosphere. Atmosphere is the air that surrounds Earth. It is also a noun. And the last word is awe, which is a strong sense of wonder about something. Awe is also a noun. Today, we will be finishing our reading of Rise to the Challenge. I hope you are as excited as I am to finish this memoir written by the first female astronaut from, where? That's right, the great state of Tennessee. Remember, a memoir is a type of narrative nonfiction. Narrative nonfiction texts are about the author's real-life experience. They may tell a story about events the author witnessed. They may share the things the author saw, did, thought, or felt. Narrative nonfiction texts sometimes have a conflict or a problem and a resolution, a solution to the problem. They may include photographs, captions, illustrations, and graphic aids to communicate information. But our narrative nonfiction text is extra special because it's a memoir. A memoir is a narrative nonfiction text written in the first person. So the main character is talking directly to you, and she will use words like I, me, and mine. It focuses on a short period of time or several related events in a person's life. It relates events as the author remembers them. It includes thoughts and feelings that explain why those particular events are important to the author. Like other narratives, it includes story elements such as setting, plot, character development, conflict, and dialogue. Its ending is often intended to get the reader thinking. Wow, that's a lot to think about. Let's think through the qualities and find them in our texts as we read. I'm going to make a chart of the qualities. Each time we find one, I'm going to put a star to let me know that I found that quality. Why don't you make one with me? This will be fun. Let's look at our qualities again. I'm going to chart the qualities of a memoir since that is what we're going to be reading. Remember, a memoir is a type of narrative nonfiction. So in order to be a memoir, it already has the qualities of narrative nonfiction. Okay, here it goes. There are 6 qualities that I have listed. Let's get these 6 qualities into something that we can remember. The first one, written in the first person, So the main character is speaking directly to me. That seems easy enough to remember. So on my chart, I'm going to write written in the first person. Next, our bullet point says, focuses on a short period of time or several related events to a person's life. I think I will write a short time. This one says, relates events as the author remembers them. I think I will write, author's memories are used. The next point includes thoughts and feelings that explain why those particular events are important to the author. For our chart, let's just put thoughts and feelings are used. Next, we had said it includes story elements such as setting, plot, character development, conflict, and dialogue. Well, we are in 3rd grade. I think we'll be just fine if we write story elements on our chart. Don't you? The last quality that is listed says, the ending is often intended to get the reader thinking. I'm going to write an interesting ending. There, I think this chart will help me as a reader to identify the qualities of a memoir as we finish our reading. Who remembers what we are going to do with our chart as we read? Right, stand up and do 3 spins. You are out of this world. We are going to keep track of the qualities of a memoir as we find them in our reading. We may also find some exciting new words. Let's blast off just like Dr. Seddon. We are beginning our reading today on page 17. With our satellite work over, we could start playing around with the mini experiments we brought on board. I do mean playing. A museum in Houston had given us a bunch of toys to bring along so we could see how they acted in space. Each crew member got to test a couple of toys. I picked a metal spring toy and jacks. On Earth, a metal spring toy will arch when it is stretched. In space, it stayed perfectly straight. Without gravity's help, the metal toy couldn't spring. The jacks didn't behave normally either. When I opened my hand to drop them, they flew everywhere. Let's think about our memoir qualities. Did the author use any of them in this section? Draw a smiley face in the air for each quality you think you heard as we go over them. Written in the first person, using I, me, my, she's talking directly to us, the reader. Yes, I agree. Several times Dr. Seddon uses the pronoun I. Draw your air smiley face and put a star on your chart like mine. Short time frame. I'm not sure I read any evidence for this quality. Did you? Author's memories are used. I hope you're drawing a big air smiley. The author used several cool space memories with us here, like the metal spring that she played with and the jacks that floated in the air. Let's put a star on our chart. Thoughts and feelings are used. What do you think? I agree, there aren't really any words or phrases that tell us about the author's feelings. No star here. Story elements are used. This particular piece of text really helps me understand the setting, where she is. The author described the lack of gravity as she was playing with the toys. I would give this one a star, and of course, an air smiley face. Interesting ending. We're going to have to keep reading to the end to find out if there is an interesting ending. Let's keep reading. Other experiments were on the more serious side. Using a machine like an X-ray, we took pictures of our hearts. From these images, we could see how blood pumps in space. My crewmate, Senator Jake Garn, the first politician in space, did tests to help understand why space travelers sometimes get motion sickness. Charlie Walker, an engineer, looked at how some chemicals act differently than others in weightlessness. The Discovery's trip was supposed to last only 5 days, but NASA gave us a full week to finish our experiments and relax a little. On a typical morning, we all awoke from our sleeping bags, which were tied to the walls of the shuttle. Sleeping was never too difficult since I usually was worn out by the end of the day. Our biggest obstacle to a good night's sleep was the noisy space toilet. Next came breakfast. Eating was always an adventure. Often we had mealtime perched on the ceiling instead of the floor. When you're floating, who's to say what's up or down? I liked to toss chocolate candies across the shuttle and gobble them up in a row. Once we had eaten, we began our work for the day. Let's pause to think together. This time, if we need to add a star, I want you to touch your nose 3 times. All right, our first one. Written in the first person and uses our pronouns I, me, my. Well, this one is making me think. I read the pronoun we several times along with the pronoun I. Can an author use the pronoun we while writing from the first person perspective? Yes, you are right. We is a personal pronoun like I and can be used in the first person form of writing. Cool new learning. I hope you touched your nose 3 times and starred your chart. Short time frame. We can begin to understand more about the time frame here. Dr. Seddon tells us that her mission was extended from 5 days to 7 days. Tap those noses and star your chart. Author's memories are used. Yes, tap your nose 3 times. Dr. Seddon tells about the various experiments that she and her crew completed on the mission. She even told us about how they slept on the spaceship. These are definitely her memories. Star. Thoughts and feelings are used. I didn't hear any feelings from the author in this section. Story elements are used. What do you think? Yes, I heard the author explaining the setting so we could visualize what was going on. And I also heard the author explain more about the plot. She shared some of the experiments that she did with her crew. The author also helped us better understand the characters by describing their jobs and experiments. 3 taps on the nose and a star coming right up. Interesting ending. Almost there. Let's keep reading. Now you get to try one. I will read the pages and give you time to mark your chart. I will mark my chart and then we will talk about our thinking. Part 4 is called Landing. On April 19th, our commander and pilot fired our onboard engines and we headed back to Earth. As we sped back into the atmosphere, the rush of air against the shuttle created enormous heat. Through the window, I could see giant flashes of light. No 4th of July fireworks show could possibly match this display. In total awe, I watched for as long as I could. Finally, our commander asked everyone to strap into his or her seat. We flew halfway around the world before we touched down in Florida. As the Discovery's tires hit the runway, we all heard a loud bang. What was that? We asked one another. Was it just the sound of the brakes releasing? Had something broken? Any small error could send us splashing into the water surrounding the runway. We found that the shuttle had blown a tire, but we were not in any danger. I had made it home, where my family was waiting to greet me. Back at Johnson Space Center, other astronauts asked if my crew and I were upset about the broken satellite. I told them no. I was already counting the days until my next flight. Okay, go to your chart and see what qualities of a memoir you heard in the last 2 pages. Place a star beside each one you found. Remember, this is practice. It's okay to be right or wrong. Just give it a try. All right, our first one, written in the first person. What did you mark? Yes, me too. I remembered what we talked about with we and I as examples of personal pronouns. This was definitely in the first person point of view. Short time frame. Yes, this memoir was certainly written in a short time frame. It is only about Dr. Seddon's career as an astronaut, not about her whole life. Author's memories are used. Yes, there were several memories included about the landing, particularly when that tire blew out. Whew, scary. Thoughts and feelings are used. I agree. I put a star on mine also. This section of the memoir really shared the feelings that Dr. Seddon had during her landing experience. She and her crew were worried about the blown tire. The author also described the heat and fire she felt and saw as they were coming back to Earth. Story elements used. This memoir includes character development, particularly of Dr. Seddon and her crew, interesting settings in space and at the training center. I put a star there just like you did. Interesting ending. The last sentence really inspired me. Her mission didn't go just exactly like she wanted, but she said, "I was already counting the days until my next flight." This really made me think about not becoming discouraged when things don't go my way. I need to persevere. You have done a fantastic job studying the memoir today. We have learned about and identified the qualities that are present in a memoir. Now it's showtime. You get to create your own memoir. Remember that a memoir has these qualities. It's written in first person and uses pronouns like I, me, my, we. It focuses on a short period of time or several related events in a person's life, not your whole life. Maybe a memoir from 3rd grade. It relates events as the author remembers them and lets us hear what you remember about that time. It includes thoughts and feelings that explain why those particular events are important to the author. How did you feel? What were your thoughts then? It includes story elements such as setting, plot, character development, conflict, and dialogue. And there should be a clear beginning, middle, and end with character setting and maybe even a problem that was solved. The ending is often intended to get the reader thinking, to leave us thinking about something interesting or even funny. Use your chart to help you put those memoir qualities into your writing. You have the best subject to write about, you. Enjoy your assignment. As always, spice it up with a great illustration or even a photograph to help us understand your memoir even better. I enjoyed working on memoirs with you today. Thank you for inviting me into your home. I look forward to seeing you in our next lesson in Tennessee's at-home learning series. Goodbye, and I hope to see you soon.
What's up, all you crazy Tennesseans? It's me, Coach Wood. Get off your couch. It's time for some PE. I got my toilet paper here. Let's warm up with some little kicks. Nothing crazy. As my niece would say, let's do some Euro kicks, Coach. Some Euro kicks. Woo! Ah! Nothing crazy. Now let's get a little bigger. A little bigger kicks. You're a little more of a professional. All right? If you need to spread out a little bit, I don't want you kicking your brother and sister. That is the last thing I want. Please do not do that. All right? I'm not condoning that. Nice and easy. Couple more big kicks. One, last one. I want to see it really nice, and I want to see a pose. Ready? Whoa, that felt good. That felt good. Ready? I got my toilet paper right here, and what we're going to do is we're going to do some little jumps, just like this. Jump, turn around. Jump, turn around. Coach, that's too easy. All right, let's do some poses. Ready? Jump, pose. Oh, beautiful. Ready? Jump, flex. Oh, yeah. Jump, goofy smile. There we go. Here we go. Jump, Spider-Man. Oh, yeah. Peter Parker. Here we go. Ready? Jump, superstar. Here we go. Jump, drummer. Jump, quarterback. All right, ready, here we go. Jump, turn. Ooh, you didn't see that coming. Jump, turn. Oh, I'm throwing you off just a little bit, just a little bit. Here we go, jump, turn. Be creative jump. Ready, jump as high as you can. Woo. One more jump, as high as you can. Ha ha, nice. Now, this is what I want you to do. You can tell you're breathing, your heart's racing, you're sweating a little bit. That's what we want, all right? Pick up your toilet paper, spread your legs out, toilet paper in your hand, hands up like this. We're gonna do some wacky jacks, all right? So, I'm gonna go to the side like this, my elbow's going into my side, all right? And then you kind of just go loose, go side to side, just like this, ready? Woo! Here we go. Start right now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Woo, woo, woo. Yes, 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 yes. Awesome job, everybody. You guys did great. Remember, if you want other PE videos or PE resources, check me out on YouTube, youtube.com/c/Coach Wood. Peace.
Hello, my most amazing artist. Today, we're going to be creating something called an abstract work of art. An abstract work of art is a work of art that when you look at it, the focus is not necessarily on what the artist was trying to create realistically. Oh, no. It's something that is abstract, meaning that it involves mostly lines, shapes, and color. Those are just a few of the elements of art. The elements of art are the magical ingredients that all artists, including you, use to create their works of art. Why don't we go ahead and learn what those are before we talk about creating? The elements of art are line, shape, color, baby, color, form, value, texture, and space. When an artist is creating an abstract work of art, they might make a work of art that simply is, like my dress almost, lines, shapes, and color. That kind of abstract artwork is called non-objective. We don't see or recognize any of the objects in it. A work of art that's called objective is an abstract piece where you might be able to see a couple of things that look familiar to you, but for the most part, it doesn't look realistic. We are going to be trying our hand at our very own masterpiece, an abstract masterpiece using lines and shapes. We'll be taking some of our favorite words, some happy, positive things that are rolling around in our heads right now to create our abstract masterpiece. We'll also be adding some color. I'm going to share with you how to turn your markers into paint. So let's get started. To begin, decide on whether or not you want your paper to go vertically or horizontally. That's up to you. And then take a marker and outline the paper. I'm just creating a border or a frame. I'm also using a permanent marker, and that's really important. You'll want to do this step with a permanent marker. Next step, break up the paper with 2 wavy, curvy, straight, zigzag, any kind of line that you wish to use. And I made my lines a little bit thicker by coloring them in. Now let's think of some positive words. Words that make you feel good inside. I'm going with a word like happy. As I write the letters of my word, notice that the top of my letter touches the top of my line. The bottom of my letter stretches all the way down to the bottom of the line. You can even go back and make the letters a little bit thicker by coloring them in so they stand out or contrast a little bit more. But it's important that you stretch that letter from the top of the line all the way to the bottom. Now, here's a really cool trick to paint with markers. I'm using what's called a washable marker. Most markers are washable, and I'm outlining the inside shapes of my letter. Now, to turn your markers into a paint, just add water. The permanent marker is going to stay put. It's permanent. However, the water-based marker that you used will turn into a paint and make for a beautiful abstract masterpiece.
Five on the top and 5 on the bottom.
That.
And we'll make sure those are even. And I've already taken out all the jokers, and then the kings are wild cards. You know what wild cards are?
Yes, you can pick whatever one.
Yeah, they can be whatever you want. And then if you get a jack or a queen, you have to throw it away. So I'll show you. So look up here.
Okay.
So I've got a 7. So where would a 7 go? We know this is 5. So if we count up, that would be 6, 7. Then I pull it up, and I got a 6. That's gonna go right before the 7. 5. Oh, I'm going in order.
5.
And I got a 3. 2. Ace. What's ace?
Ace is 1.
1. 7. I already have a 7, so now I have 2. Ooh, I did good. Okay, now it's your turn.
Okay. Let me see if I can.
Oop, the very first top card. There you go.
I got it
Queen. What happens to the queen?
at the Jordan.
You have to throw it away.
Yeah.
Oh, Jack, what do you have to throw him away? Your turn again.
Away. I have an 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
Awesome. I love the way you counted that.
Let's see, I got a 3.
Ooh, where does the 3 go?
1, 2, 3.
Oh, you're doing really good.
Got a king, and then I got a 5. Let's see if 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Oh my gosh, we're tied.
We're tied.
3 in the trash.
Trash.
5. Oh, I already have a 5. Oh my gosh, who's gonna win?
Let's go to win. I got a 4.
Did you win? Awesome
Yes,
job!
I did it.
High five! Great game.
Hello, I'm Maria Lee, First Lady of Tennessee, and I'm so glad you're here. This has been an unprecedented time for our state and our country. I'm so proud to see how Tennesseans are coming together to serve and lift each other up in the midst of challenges. Each of us has a role to play, including you, our students. Right now, your school buildings may be closed, but there are many opportunities to keep learning. And we are so grateful for the partnership of PBS in bringing this program directly to you as one more way to keep us learning and growing together during this time. I want to also give a special thank you to all of the teachers who helped make this possible. We could not do it without them. Most of all, thank you for joining us.